The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Today's guest and their company are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial. So for people who don't know you, the few people who don't know you, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, Dr. Jodi Hierholzer. I own BodyWorx Physical Therapy and Performance, which is a PT clinic and a gym. So we have a little bit of both small group training, sports physical therapy, orthopedics, and I graduated from HSU back in 2011 from undergrad, and then 2013 with my doctor of PT. And yeah, worked for West Texas Rehab for several years, loved it there, learned a lot of good lessons, and decided I want to go out on my own, and so opened my own business in 2020, 3 weeks before COVID, and learned a lot of lessons from there.
That's the best time to start a business.
It's honestly, it was. People say
Yeah.
all the time, like, oh my gosh, like, you were a COVID entrepreneur, and I'm like, oh, it's amazing, because I didn't know anything about business. I'm a healthcare provider.
I've met so many people who either got started right before COVID or like in the middle of it. And it was very much of like, it was a hard reset for a lot of people that they're like, hey, let me completely reinvent something. I have time to really think about this.
It was a blank slate and a fresh start. And the longer we go and the further we get away from COVID, I look back and I'm like, what a blessing.
Right.
Because everybody was ready to start fresh. I mean, nobody could go to the gyms. Everything was closed. People were needing to have procedures, surgeries. Everything was closed. And so that was my golden opportunity of, hey, I'll meet you at your house. Hey, I insured my house and had people come for 2 weeks out of my home office, just set up a treatment table, and I have everything I need with my skills in my hands. And I'm like, I'll treat you here. And I had several people come to me who didn't want to be in the hospital setting because they were maybe at risk or elderly or didn't want to wear a mask. You know, there were very weird reasons, but like the Lord kept providing and opening doors, and it's like, okay, there's an avenue for this. There's definitely a market in Abilene, and I did cash pay, which was a little bit scary because we weren't taking insurance, but it was the right shift at the right time too, and I kind of got lucky. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know, because with Obamacare, our cuts for healthcare reimbursement had gradually just gone downhill.
Right.
And I opened right at the right time, where that's now like a great shift. You see a lot of other PT clinics wanting to go cash route because reimbursement rates are so low, and you can't just keep seeing people on the hour. You can only see so many people. And so we take a lot of pride in, hey, we're going to see one person on the hour. We're not going to have to increase our productivity, increase the number of bodies, in our building just to pay our bills. And it really was like God's timing and all of it. I just had to work hard with it. So.
That's awesome. So what kind of brought you into physical therapy as a career or an avenue that you want to start learning?
So I'm an athlete, always been an athlete. I thought, if I can go the athletic route, I could be an athletic trainer. I could maybe do PT, like work with athletes. And I love to learn. Like, I'm an avid learner. I'm curious. I'm always seeking out knowledge. And I said, well, maybe I can go the doctor route. I'd have to be in school a lot longer. And then as I got a little bit older, I said, I'm a really good coach. Like, I loved working with youth, our youth athletes, even youth group in church, and I said I could be a great coach. So I had a couple of options there. I'm like, physician, coach, and physical therapy lands perfectly in the middle, because something I also value is community, people, relationships. And you look at both sides of that, and PT fits perfect of, hey, I get to be with patients, I get to work with them, I get to coach them up, but I also get enough time to develop relationships with them. And I don't have to be in school for 12 years. And, people always say, like, it's so much school, you're learning so much. Well, life experience is school too. So let's get out there sooner and start helping people. And I've learned more just being in the field and working with people in the last, 6 years of entrepreneurship versus just being stuck in the classroom. So I think I picked maybe accidentally, but picked the perfect career for me, and it's aligned really well.
There's a lot of people who very much early on, that early investment of education that you have to do, or time in a classroom or whatever, they seem to outweigh that against their entire career. It's like, hey, I'm going to be working for 40 plus years. I think a couple extra years in a classroom or having to learn some of this, it's going to benefit me. I don't have to get raring to go the second I'm out of school as soon as possible.
And then I think finding what you like to do. I have a lot of students that come to me and I ask them, what's your major? Or what route are you going? They're like, I don't know. And
Yeah.
I used to think like, well, you better figure it out.
Sure.
Like, you better get on
It's coming
track
up.
because you're wasting a lot of time and money. Like, life is coming, but like you said, you have your whole life to work.
Right.
So invest that time and figure out what you enjoy and go out and shadow. I encourage people like, hey, don't just pick a track and stick to that. Like, go hang out with people like us,
Yeah.
you know, that are in the workforce. Spend a couple hours with me. I have students in and out all the time. I'm like, either you like it or you don't. And if you don't waste your time. So it turns out I just really loved it. And then I made it what I wanted it to be, I guess, because I didn't find a career path that fit exactly into alignment with what I fell in love with, which is helping people in a way that empowers them. Yeah. You know, like we were at healthcare system now, it's a little bit more reactive instead of proactive. Right. And where I previously worked, I'll say that they did a darn good job of helping people, but there's still, you know, caps. There's still hurdles you have to jump over. Like, hey, your insurance is only going to cover 10 visits because you're Medicare. After 10, you're done. Sorry. Like, see you later, Mrs. Smith.
Healed,
yeah, hope you're getting well, you know, or hope you're getting along okay. And then there's the athletes who insurance don't care, like, how far you can hit a golf ball. If you can pick up your kids and play with them, if you can throw a football, if you can go play pickleball on the weekends, they don't care about that. Yeah. They care that you can feed yourself, walk to the bathroom, do the very basic minimum of life. And that just wasn't enough for me. And I just didn't want to settle for that, so.
So kind of speaking about that, what did those kind of early years in your field look like when you kind of got into that field?
So in network, you're going to hear me say two things, out of network and network. I worked in an in-network facility. It was a nonprofit. It's amazing. Like, I absolutely love it. It's West Texas Rehab here in Abilene, and I will sing their praises and brag on them all day because I've learned so much from there. I was there 6 years, and we saw anything from your post-op orthopedic patient to a trauma patient, to TBIs, spinal cord injuries, strokes, vestibular hearing. So I learned to treat everything from the head to the toe, the nervous system, the muscular system, the skeletal system. So for me, it was learning to kind of be in that in-network setting, learn to treat everything. The mentorship there was amazing. I got to learn from people that I still highly admire, but you also learn that there's so many different insurance companies and they all treat everybody a little bit differently. So I got to learn the ins and outs of it, which made me appreciate what I get to do now.
For sure.
So that's what I tell students all the time. Like, please go work in network, like go see what the traditional healthcare model is like. And West Texas Rehab has done a wonderful job trying to pivot and make that work to the best of their ability. And they have the donor sponsorship program. The people of this community give so much money to help other people in the community get the care that they need. So they have found the workarounds around it. And I found another little workaround that I wanted to make to kind of work with the population that fits more into the athletes and the people who just want to do a little bit better for themselves and optimize their potential versus settling for what insurance says is their best, you know?
Gotcha. So do you feel that a lot of people who start like you did, starting in an in-network setting, do you think that they eventually do branch off like you did and kind of start their own shop? Or do you think it's very common for even most in your profession to kind of stay under a big house?
It's new. It's very new. So I was the first, BodyWorx was the first cash pay, or 100% cash pay, I should say, or out of network in Abilene. There's been a few others here and there that have maybe done solopreneur, that have tried, like, hey, I'll do cash pay on the side, but also they're a network with maybe a few here and there. But it was a fairly new thing, and I figured I'm going to take the risk because what's the worst thing I can do? I can fail, I can learn.
Right.
And then I can go back to working at my old job, or I can go work literally anywhere else. And so it really was worth the risk. But now, because cuts have, like in the past 3-4 years, everything's slowly gone downhill. You see a bunch of people opening up shop. I would say there's 3 more that have popped up since I opened in 2020. And then you even see the in-network clinics offering a cash pay offer. Wow. So, yeah, or like a discounted option for it. So,
wow.
Everyone's having to pivot and adapt.
Yeah. So what was something that was valuable that you learned early on, kind of in that season when you were under someone else's kind of building and their own structure, when you're working with their patients? What was something that you learned that was valuable that you still kind of integrate today?
Ooh, a lot, but this is probably one of my favorites, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And the people that mentored me really care about people. They really know how to foster relationships. They really value relationships. And I think I just learned from their example of it doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name or how smart you are. You can spit off the biggest words as fast as you want in the world, but if you can't relate to the person sitting in front of you and kind of meet them where they're at, and that's not even from a clinical level, I think from an empathetic level too, and just having compassion for what they're going through, then nothing else really matters. And so I think the only reason I'm even halfway successful is that I just really truly love people, and I want to see people do well, and I care about people. And that's been a blessing and a curse sometimes, because in business you have to be a little bit tougher skinned when things get hard. And sometimes I lead a little bit more to being an empath, and I really, really care. But again, having systems in place that kind of are your backdrop whenever feelings do come to play, having those systems helps you make a decision and takes the feelings out of it. And so it's a balance of both, watching them say, hey, I can manage this business and I can lead my team. I had a really good mentor in Bubba Klosterman, who is our clinical director, and he knew how to do a little bit of both. He cared about people a lot, always greeted people at the door, would make them, like, buy them special birthday cakes for little monuments, milestones, just the small little gestures that I learned from him. But he also kept things tight. He kept a tight ship, and him and my other mentor, Brad, they just really taught me a lot about leadership. And I don't think I realized that until I got several years into BodyWorx and I had to manage my own team. And I look back on what they did, and I'm like, okay, there was a reason for that. Even though I didn't understand it at the time, like, I get it now, and I'm appreciative.
That's super cool. Did you have just like a moment when you were there that when you decided to branch off, or was there some, like, maybe a series of events that kind of led you to going out and starting BodyWorx?
Yeah, I would both. So the series was, I was very routine. I would come to work 7:30, saw patients from 7:30 to 4:30. Then I would go coach CrossFit, and I would go home, rest, recover, repeat. 6 years in a row, and I was really good at that. And then I started to get really burnt out and really tired. And I was like, why am I burnt out? Like, I'm not necessarily tired of my profession.
Yeah.
I love my profession. I love people, but I'm not fulfilled. I was so tired, I would fall asleep, like, in my truck, in my garage, not with it on.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been bad.
Sure.
But, just the fatigue was there, but I couldn't figure out why. And I was like, my spark is just gone. Like, something about this is just not quite as exciting. And I just feel like I'm underserving my people somehow. There was just something missing. It was like the 80-20, but that 20 was really shining bright. I was like, man, there's a missing piece of this puzzle. And so the big moment was, I'd been praying about this for a long time, and I'm like, okay, Lord, like, is it where I'm at? Do I need to be in a different location? Do I need to be in a different setting? Like, what is it that's missing? Because I felt like we had plenty of opportunities to be leaders within our own realm. Like, it wasn't that. I just couldn't figure out what. And I woke up one morning and just had this epiphany of, like, you have trust in people. Like, you're good at what you do. Why don't you just start something that fills in that missing 20%? And that's something that insurance can't provide. And I was like, Lord, like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, are you sure about this? And so actually, I found something online. It was a 20-hour course on how to be a PT in a gym. And in CrossFit world, we used to call them boxes. And so there was another girl I followed. She's a really good friend of mine now. She was the box doc. Okay. And she was just in the corner of a CrossFit gym, like, literally set up her table. Super fit athlete. Her name is Jamie Gold. She went to the CrossFit Games. And she was like, yeah, I'm like a CrossFitter by day, and then, like, PT a few hours here and there, and live my best life. And I get to treat people I want, and I do cash. And I was like, okay, like, so this can be done. And there was a girl in Dallas I met doing the same thing. And I'm like, well, if they're doing it, like, I think we could do it here in Abilene. I just had to figure that out, because I was in the gym getting people asking me to help them all the time. But when I said, well, come see me at work, and, oh, by the way, you have to get a referral. So you have to go see your doctor first, and he has to give you permission, or he or she, to come see me, and then we can get you taken care of. Oh, but, like, if your insurance doesn't cover it, then it might be an issue. And, there was just all these boundaries. I'm like, this is too complicated. Like, people just want help. Yeah. And so I'm very much like a keep it simple, stupid kind of person. I was like, let's go KISS method on this. And that's how I started my business. As simple as possible. Yeah.
Wow. A couple of years ago, I did the Ag Expo, and it was one of those where, like, I set up the table, and, I set up the stand of candy for all the trick-or-treaters and things like that. Yeah. And I was right next to a booth
that was like hawking some terrible products that were all like aimed at like pain relief, like copper everything, something that like you
like
get
the
on,
bullshit stuff.
Oh, tons of it. And
Can I cuss on your podcast?
I mean, feel free. And I was like, okay, I don't know who would ever buy these things.
Yeah.
For 2 days straight, I watched that booth be full.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this like weird moment, like, why in the world are all these people stopping? And it was like, oh, I didn't realize this many people were in pain. And they were just looking for anything that was going to help it. And like you said, like there was so many obstacles to other maybe traditional routes that they're like, hey, I just need something that can meet me here.
Yep. If you look up pain, like as far as SEO goes and business, I mean, pain's one of the top clickers. People just want pain relief. And like even for me going through my own health journey, it's people just want peace. Like they just want to find contentment, and they'll do a lot to get there. And that's another struggle with PT is it's not instant gratification, and progress is usually not linear. It depends on the diagnosis, but what that calls for is being really good at your job for one. Like you have to have the skills, you have to have relatability, but sales. And a lot of therapists and even clinicians think sales is a dirty word.
Yeah.
We're all in sales. Like everybody who is a working adult is in sales of some sort. It's like we have something that's of value to people, and we can trade or barter for that or whatever that looks like. It's just knowing what that value is and knowing the worth of it and really being able to provide that in a certain way. And you have to be able to communicate that to people. So a lot of what we do when people call in, like, hey, do you take my insurance? That's almost the first question every time. And my two office girls, they're amazing. They're really good at taking those calls and telling them what we do and what we do really, really well. Instead of just saying, no, we don't take your insurance. It's, well, ask, hey, what's going on? What's going on with your shoulder? Hey, here's how we can help you. We've got these therapists who will bring you in for a full hour. They're going to get to the root cause of things versus just Band-Aid fixes. Like, yeah, anybody can throw some cups on something, maybe some tape, maybe grass in it, Theragun it, put some gel on. Like, there are so many modalities out there. Like, yeah, we can do that. We can also stick some needles in there, all these fun little tricks and whatnot. But until you figure out the root cause of it, things are going to keep coming back. And that's not sexy for people. Like, people don't always want to hear that. But we're very honest and transparent about that. It's like, hey, this is kind of how we do things, but we do have a path for you. We have a way forward. First, we're going to get you out of pain. Then we're going to give you a really good plan that's going to help you, maintain that. And then we're going to optimize it. And you can take it up all the way to the optimize. And that's why we have the gym. It's like people got done with therapy and they're like, okay, I feel good. But like, now what? Do I go to the gym? Do I what's my movement plan? Because we were all designed to move, and we know movement's medicine. But unfortunately, we aren't all designed to fall in love with movement. Just like, math and finances, I wish we had so much more education on all that stuff because it's something we need as adults. But we might not be inclined to love it, but we do need to meet people where they're at and find a way to help them. Like, hey, look, like you have one body, it's your temple. How can you protect that temple your whole life? Yeah. And so we get to get creative, help them come up with ways to do that.
That's super cool. Yeah. So what were, other than just like the way that you kind of started talking about it, what were some of the fears that when you were going into this all by yourself, when you were starting the gym, what were you scared about?
Oddly enough, not the fear of failure. I was kind of like toxic confident in the time, and I wish I could go back to that.
Right.
It's weird. I'm like, how did I lose that? Like, where along this way did I lose it? Yeah. And I think just I had so much confidence in myself to succeed because I had such a strong community backing. My fear came later, a couple years later with leadership. Okay. I was worried I wasn't being, like, I'm not a good leader, that I didn't have the tools to lead in the way that everybody wanted because I'm a perfectionist and I'm a chronic people pleaser. Yeah. And you can't be a people pleaser when you're leading a team and there's certain systems and like ways because people are dynamic. Yeah. And people aren't black and white, and when you have 14 different personalities, you're trying to manage, you have to make sure, again, you fall back on the systems and have that in place so it's not just always put on you and it's not so subjective. But being a small business owner, I wanted to take care of my people too, so there is some really cool flexibility in that. Like, I do get to have subjectivity of like, hey, we did great this year, guys, like, let's go on a trip to Mexico, and I've been able to take my team to do that twice. But when the economy shifts and maybe the profit margins aren't as good that year or revenue's different regardless of how well everybody's performing, it's hard when you have to, make some of those big decisions of like, well, guys, like, we're doing the best we can, but we've got to tighten things up here. And we're just, at the end of the day, we're always going to fall back on our mission, vision, core values, and we're going to stick to what we do best. It's just helping people stay active the way we do it. And I think the fear is always like just not being enough for my people. And then the other fear came when I've just dealt with health stuff of like, I've always been able-bodied, I've been able-minded, I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
And when that ability is taken away from you, even if it's just momentarily, it's a little scary.
Yeah. Yeah, usually whenever you start getting the things that have never been an issue stripped away from you, you're like, hang on, this was never even part of the equation. This is just something I take for granted, essentially. Yeah.
Exactly.
But when it kind of comes to leadership, like usually people kind of do what you do, and they get into a business that they're running for themselves because they're very good at what they do, and they've been doing it for years. Like say, hey, you were at the rehab for 6 years, you were a physical therapist 6 years, but it was your first year as a leader whenever you hired a person.
Yep.
And so, like, you kind of have this, like, gut check in leadership of, oh, no, I'm a beginner again. And usually by that point, a lot of people have kind of checked out on that ability to grow.
Yes.
Or that ability to bring themselves back to, hey, I need to learn something here. Hey, I need to make some changes. I might be the best at what I do as a job, but that doesn't mean I'm the best boss. It doesn't mean I'm the best manager or whatever. And that's really hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've had to... When I have meetings with my staff, you know, my annual meetings, just check-ins, I always tell them that, like, guys, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for having grace with me because I'm a green leader. And when I have fallen short, I want you to keep in mind that I've been a therapist for 13 years, but I've been a leader, depending on how long I have led them, for at max 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And so you look at, like, your youth or things that I did leadership stuff all growing up, but it's different when you're caring for people's financial well-being of their families. You know, you think about, this is the stuff that I lose sleep over at night of like, I'm not just taking care of Jodi, I'm taking care of currently 11 employees and their families and their children and their, you know, like kind of their well-being too.
Yeah.
And when you put that kind of pressure on yourself, it does, one, help me rise to the occasion, but then when your body's not cooperating, it's like, okay, health, like, let's go. we got stuff to do. And so the new lesson I'm learning is, you know, I can't be there for everybody all the time. Just like you wouldn't be able to, like, be 110% for every single person in your life. Like, there has to be boundaries there. Right. Or because things come up. And so it's like, I need to be able to empower other people to step up and be those leaders when I can't be. And it's just another level of system. It's, you know, leadership meets systems of like, yes, we have these basic systems, but can you have your other leaders in place, and how are you growing your team to also be leaders? And there's a risk that comes with that too. Maybe they'll leave, you know, maybe you'll give them all this energy and investment, and you build them up just for them to leave. But I think I'm the perfect example of that for, you know, my other bosses. And I thank them for that whenever I put my notice in. I was like, thank you for helping me learn and grow and helping me prepare for this season of my life. And so it's super morbid, but I used to business coach, and the businesses that I would coach, they'd get so frustrated, like, oh, like I had turnover again, like it's the end of the world. And I'm like, well, really, everybody you know is gonna die.
Yeah.
It's morbid, but it's true. Every single relationship you form, human, you know, like they will pass eventually. And if you just kind of look at business that way of like, hey, people come and go, like, while they're here, I'm going to do the best I can to serve them, and hopefully, like, I made a good choice in hiring them, and they'll do the best they can to serve this business, but at some point, they're going to leave. So what do? Do you get frustrated and do you cry about it, or do you wish them well, pivot, adapt, and hire again?
Yeah. The statistic on businesses, like, since, I don't know, the stock market's been a thing, essentially, 99.9 businesses have disappeared or failed in the time that they've been created. I mean, it's just one of those where,
I love
like,
that stat so much.
I mean, it's inevitable. Everything is going to come to an end at a point. Life does kind of move on. You know, there's more opportunities. There's more businesses. There's different things you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, and kind of to your morbid point, I lost my aunt about a week or so ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. But I'm on a walk thinking about this, and I'm just like, okay. Best case scenario, I stay healthy and I take care of myself and all that. And you count how many more funerals you're going to go to. It's very much of like, your relationships are going to be like that. The people in your life are going to be like that. It's not a reason not to enjoy them right now. It's very much of like, it's even more of a reason to stay focused on the part of the journey that you're in and the people that you have around you at that point.
And I love that. Sombering, but it's be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Always the highs and the lows. And it grounds me to thinking about that, of the whole business thing shutting down, because it's like, well, look at these skills that you have instead of sitting like, you know, in grief. And I do think gratitude and grief can sit at the same table. And I have fully embraced that and allow it. And it's like, yeah, I can be upset about this, or I can be, you know, mourning maybe like the loss of my health, or mourning the loss of an employee, whatever. But think of the opportunities that lie on the other side of it. Like maybe this is something that you don't know that God's bringing to you, or think of all the skills you have to start a new business. Like there will be tomorrow. It'll come. This is not the worst thing in your life, even though it might feel like it is at the time. But yeah, it's taught me to appreciate like the little things, even this moment, like us being able to talk about stuff and get to know each other better. It's like say yes to those things instead of staying home and feeling sorry for yourself.
Right.
So appreciate you, dog.
Me too. So what do you think that BodyWorx is doing so differently than maybe your competition or the other shops in town?
I think just having the model of it being out of network, it just allows us to do things differently. So being cash pay, you know, people's first impression is like, God, you guys are expensive.
Yeah.
It can look that way, but if you look at the time we spend with people, we're going to spend a full, very intentional hour with you at every visit. We have decreased frequency, so it's less time, and so less time is less money that they're paying. Instead of paying your copay 3 times a week, you're paying for one visit with more value, with more intention. You're going to get more bang for your buck for the same price, really. We're very transparent in our costs. You're going to pay up front, so you're not going to be getting bills later. Like I went to the ER in October for a little TIA, and I'm still getting bills. Have you ever? I'm sure
that my youngest child is now 2. I'm sure one day I'll get my last bill from the hospital from his delivery.
What's this one for?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, he had an operation. I'm like, I'm getting a text message with a bill. I'm like, I thought we paid this one. I was like, no, we paid the 12 other ones. Oh, okay.
But you have
I better
to check.
catch up. Right.
Because I've actually paid a bill like 3 times because they keep messaging you, and I'm like, I thought I paid this one. And I'm like, am I crazy? Yeah. So then it wastes my time having to go check to see if I've paid it.
It's not so much you paid it 3 times.
Okay,
so
I've already paid this. But I don't want to be delinquent.
Yeah. on the pricing kind of thing with you too, like your pain is a cost to your life too. So it's like, oh, you're expensive. Well, if I'm gonna help you get out of a problem that you're dealing with,
it's worth it. Invest in your health. And so we really appreciate that. But the really neat thing about this model, and this happened organically, and I didn't know it was going to happen, is it's attracted really cool people.
Yeah.
Like the people that care about their health are the ones willing to invest. And it really weeds out people that are just going to waste their time, or, waste my time, waste their own time, or just not be good clients, if you will. So I truly have like the best patients, best clients, like the best gym members. It's people that have similar beliefs, like your go-getters, if you will. And it's not to say that everybody like wants to go hard in the paint. People just want to feel good, but it really does attract the people that work hard and that are willing to invest, and they value it. And it's like, okay, so they're willing to receive what you're willing to offer, because you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped.
Right.
And I'll even say that for myself, an example of mental health. Like, I didn't know how bad I needed to go see a counselor or a therapist until I got to a point in business where I'm like, man, this is just tough, and I can't solve this problem on my own.
Yeah.
And like, I have the best therapist. He is wonderful. We're a great match, and he's taught me so many things about myself that I never would have known, but I wasn't ready to receive it at the time when I had started a few years ago and had different therapists. I'm like, this is a waste of my time. It's not helping. It was a readiness thing. But man, our model, it attracts people who are ready. It's like, it's interesting how it's a team effort. We're giving our best, they're giving their best, people get better. It's really cool.
That's super cool.
It's very rewarding, if you will, very valuable.
So now that you've moved well out of the startup phase, kind of whenever people start doing something, like that first like 10 hours or like in business, that first like 3 months or 2 or 3 months, super exciting.
Yeah.
But then you just have the grind season of just like, hey, you're continually growing. It's not as exciting, but it's just something that if you're not consistently moving forward, you're kind of dying a little bit. So how are you thinking about that time in your business now as you're kind of still in the growth phase, but in a different kind of capacity?
Yeah, no, I've definitely hit those hurdles, I guess, where it slows down and you're like, how much longer can I do this?
Sure.
Like, I'm kind of bored. No, not bored's not the right word, but just, it's like getting mundane.
Yeah.
What keeps my spark alive is patient care.
Yeah.
Because there's some entrepreneurs in PT or in any healthcare that say, like, I'm going to grow, I'm going to hire a great team, and now I'm just going to be the CEO, CFO, like, do just admin stuff. And that's never, like, been my MO. I, like, want to be boots on the ground. Like, I want to be in the gym grinding next to my patients, too. And so I have a little balance of, like, hey, I'm always going to be a part of patient care because that's what really, like, fills my cup. And so what drives me is getting the little text messages from my patients. Like, yesterday I had a patient that texted me and said, I just did push-ups in the workout for the first time. She fell off of a CrossFit bar, like shattered her wrist, and we've been working for months, like just trying to get her enough range of motion to where she can like get on the ground and do a push-up. And that like doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a huge deal because she works her ass off to like do her homework, stretch, heal, doing everything she possibly can to heal. And so something that seems a little like simple, like, hey, I did a bunch of push-ups today. For me, I'm like, hell yeah, girl, like that's awesome. Or when other people see me on the street or like in a restaurant and they're like, hey, I'm seeing your provider, like I'm seeing Dr. Amber, Dr. Chase, Dr. Brady, any of my other PTs, and they are awesome and they have helped me so much. And now like after I had my baby, I'm not having like pelvic floor issues anymore, or now I can like play with my kids, like the little stuff that that's just cool. Like means so much. I can drive without being dizzy, and little examples that, you know, it'll make me emotional thinking about it. But that's why I do it. Like I love people. I like seeing them win.
Yeah. So. That's amazing. Yeah, when you keep it service oriented, it's the only way to keep it.
Ooh, got like passionate about that, man.
Right. I mean, I think you're completely right too. There's two different mindsets of like I'm excited about growing a business, or I'm excited about taking care of people. Yeah. The only ones I ever care about meeting or dealing with are the ones who care about the people. Yeah. So yeah.
It's funny because my mentors, I had business coaches for years, and I still do, but I learned different things from different people, and I always take like little nuggets here and there. And so you have your mentors that are like, grow your business because that's your way to serve people. Right. And then you have your therapy mentors that are like, you know, be a great clinician because that's how you serve people, but you really have to have both. And people ask like, would you do it again all over? And I'm like, if it's a bigger vehicle to serve more people, then absolutely. Yeah. It's bigger than myself. It's bigger than just our team. Like there's an impact to it. And so I think maybe one day if I have the energy or the health, like I think it would be really cool to grow a little bit more, but the why has to always be there. If I'm doing it for just me or doing it for financial purposes, which it's never been about that, that's a nice perk because you get to give back to the community, right? And that's another like kind of I guess caveat to it is the give back. It's not just in your treatment room. It's not just on the table. It's not just in the gym. It's the outreach, right? Yeah. Like all these nonprofits in Abilene that we get to help, how we get to volunteer here and there, and that's been the biggest difference between working for somebody versus working for myself. It's like I get to make these decisions on where this profit gets to go, and it doesn't just stay in my own wallet or in my own pocket. Like we get to use that for good. So
that's really cool.
It's been cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. As things are changing, how are your goals evolving with you and with your business?
Ooh, day to day, week to week, quarter to quarter. Yeah. So like I have my annual planning, right? I'm a goal-oriented person, but life knocked me on my ass a couple months ago with health, and so my goal strategy has changed. Oh. It's like, all right, team, here's the big picture, here's where we're heading, but it's also okay if we don't get there tomorrow. Yeah. Let's take it day by day. And so the overarching theme is still, again, fall back on core values, stick to your goals, help people, but it doesn't have to happen now. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It doesn't have to happen in our time. So like, I think the deadline has changed a little bit on what I want to do, as long as we're not going backwards and we're making progress. Yeah. I also have to look at my goals in a sense of like, it doesn't always have to be about just business. Yeah. Goals are not always measured by objective numbers of, you know, how many people did you see or how many people did you help? You know, what is your gross revenue for this week, this quarter? That stuff's important, but it's also like, how much did I grow in this season? And the growth in the last like 6 months for me personally is setting me up for bigger growth down the road. Because if I don't have these, like, I keep saying the word systems, but I think mentality, if I don't have this mentality in place and the ability to lead and help people, then I'm not ready for the next season. I think the Lord's just saying, like, hold up, partner, slow your ass down. Like, you're not ready. You've got things to learn. Then we'll grow from there.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I usually think of just like grinding away at something like, oh, this is going to be what it's going to be, the focus of.
Yeah.
And you do have to have different seasons for it. You do have to, like, you know, for the next month or two, this is what I'm focusing on. And it's something possibly wildly different, but you have to grow as a full human. You have to grow as a full kind of business in a lot of different facets. And so, not everything fits in the Excel.
Yeah.
But, you know. And
how are you supposed to steward what the Lord has for you if you're not prepared to steward it? So it's been a hard season, but I look back a season of gratitude as well.
Yeah. So kind of starting to get into some of the health problems that you have been having. Specifically, why I think that sticks out to me is very much to do with what you do. And so as you've been dealing with your own problems and your own kind of health setbacks, how is that affecting the way that you're seeing patients, or the way that you interact or empathize with what they're going through?
It's making me a lot better therapist. I could tell you that. I met with a patient last Thursday, and she's going through some similar things. So for transparency, it's a conglomerate of things, but some upper cervical instability, POTS, dysautonomia, some vascular issues to where basically I'm not getting enough blood flow to the back of my brain. So it affects me physically, but also mentally. A lot of brain fog, a lot of fatigue, heat intolerance. Like, I love being outside. I love working out. I love getting my heart rate up, and I can't do a lot of those things now. And people have always known that as somewhat of my identity. And people also all the time, like, so you can't work out? Like, nope, I'm just on a walking program, and I'm doing the best I can. I think people see that, and hopefully it sets an example. My story's still unfolding. I still have a lot of procedures coming up, and things that doctors are working with me on to figure it out, and I've had to be my own patient advocate. It's not been an easy diagnosis, and we're still trying to get answers of what exactly is going on. But I hope that I can tell my story one day in a way that patients are like, okay, like, even somebody who is a go-getter, who has a lot of things on their plate, like, they're still trying to see the good in the world, trying to see the positive, and I want to set a good example. And I want to learn how to rest the right way, in a productive way, and just be able to exemplify that, because it's hard as a go-getter.
That's the most type A thing I've ever heard. I just want to rest the most efficiently.
How can I optimize my rest?
Yes. I'm doing a walking program, but I am killing it.
Oh man, I needed to be called out on that. The best walker, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I need a Normatec pool that I'm getting into that's just gonna like take 10% off of the recovery time.
I just got called out. No, I'm such a wearable. I'm like, my Oura Ring, and what are my stats? And I wake up, I'm like, how good did I sleep? Like, did I win sleep today?
Right.
I'm literally trying to win rest.
If you're over 92% on a sleep, you're like, my goodness, I did some of my best work last night.
I'm killing it today, guys. 5 stars for me. Slept great.
My DNA is looking trim right now after that sleep.
Man, so this is going to sound so terrible. I'm trying to gamify my life the same way I did that got me to where I'm at. Okay, now let's reverse engineer this. Like, what are you really good at? I'm really good at setting goals. Like, I'm a go-getter. It's like, how do you go get slowly? Like, and how can you win that? So I'm trying not to get frustrated. I'm trying not to get pissed off as much as I want to. But now I can tell that story to patients. And I've been helping people my whole life. And I don't take that lightly. I take it as a responsibility. But it's weird, like, having other people help you. Like, I'm not good at it at all. I'm not good at asking for help. I'm not good at slowing down. So this is a season where I'm like, hey, just allow other people to help you, because surprisingly, they love it. And people get things out of it too. It's not one-sided. And so there's been some beauty in that too, of like learning people to help me. But I think I can relate a lot more, and especially these really hard, weird diagnoses that people have. I kind of fall into that niche and category. And I remember telling the lady that I saw Thursday, the patient, I'm like, I see you. And she just like put out her hand, grabbed my hand. She's like, I see you too. And it was kind of like an Avatar cry moment. It's like, okay, I'm not a crier. I'm gonna cry for a second, but let's move on. And so, but it was like a huge breakthrough for that person. And I think kind of even my Hard Knocks CrossFitters, because they knew me as that once, they have such a hard time understanding how I've slowed down, and it almost gives them permission to not feel guilty.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you don't have to go to class every day. Go to your kid's t-ball game. It's okay that you missed your workout. Like, and they don't carry this guilt, because I think we put a lot on ourselves. It's not other people. Like, weirdly enough, before I came here, I was like, man, should I wear jeans today? Like, I don't want to wear jeans. I usually look professional for these things. I'm like, Steve doesn't care if I wear jeans. Like, show up. You know, so people don't really care as much as we think they do.
I guarantee if there is ever a single comment on this podcast on on like a clip or whatever, and it's talking about clothes, it's gonna be like, hey Steve, you were really brave for wearing short sleeves next to Jodi. Like that's gonna be 100% what the comment is. Like, hey man, maybe you should have like not been able to be seen from the neck down when she's over there. And so it's kind of like whenever I was a teacher, one thing that like kind of
you were a teacher?
I was I was a teacher. I was an English teacher for over a decade at Cooper High School, which is the proper way to say it, I'm told. But yeah, Cooper. Oscar Henry Cooper.
I'm sorry to everybody that goes to Cooper.
Yeah, no, but it was one of the things that never kind of made sense, or was kind of like one of those things you had to think through a little bit. They talk about like who the best teacher was, and it was never, you would think it's the kid who's the best in the class. Like it's like, oh yeah, the kid who's just like acing everything, the one that's just like has full mastery over it. You should definitely pair them with the kid who's really struggling. And it was always a nightmare, and it never works out. And it's because there's no middle ground, because the one who has all that mastery has no idea of why they're struggling, why the other person is. And so it's kind of like you're in a situation now where you've always been incredibly gifted probably in this kind of realm, but suddenly you're seeing a struggle that maybe you hadn't really seen or really understood before, that like your patients. I almost kind of wonder, I don't like this term, but like if you believe them more, or like you understand them more. Like
you do.
Yeah.
I actually apologized to somebody 2 weeks ago. I said, and I didn't necessarily owe them an apology. Like maybe it was just a self-reflection, but it's a person I've been working with for 12 years, like since early on, which is another cool thing. Like people followed me and like have stuck with me, and I get to see people for all kinds of things, like because we've got a lot of body parts and a lot of injuries that can happen. And so I'll see the same people kind of over and over, continuity. But I told her, I said, I'm sorry if I underserved you for years. I didn't know what I didn't know. And she goes, what do you mean? And I was like, I just feel like I could have been a better therapist, because I just understand why maybe you couldn't show up on this day, or why you said you felt this way. And even though I didn't understand it, I still had empathy for you. But now I understand it and have empathy for you. And she just kind of looked at me and she's like, that really means a lot. Like, thank you for saying that, because sometimes I feel crazy. And I was like, I know exactly what you mean. And it's weird to feel that way. Like, you want to feel believed, but when you go to physicians, and this is my own experiences, I'm a clinician. I know healthcare, but I go to specialists because they're supposed to be the best of the best. And I went to somebody very like world-renowned in Dallas, and I felt like he didn't take me seriously, and it was the most frustrating feeling in the world. And I'm like, I don't think you're hearing me, man. And I never want patients to feel that way. And even if they say something that sounds like out of this world, like the weirdest thing, and they'll always say like, does that make sense? I'm like, it doesn't have to make sense to me. If that's your reality, I believe you, and I'm gonna do the best I can to help you.
I would imagine that's also what's probably differentiating your practice from other ones down the road, of just like that understanding of just like people who are constantly dealing with pain are also probably the same people who are constantly dealing with people who are like either sick of hearing about it, or people who are just like, they don't really believe me, or they don't really understand what I'm doing right now. Because even though like I'm experiencing this, you're in your own body and you don't feel it. And you don't know what this is like. It's
so cool when you can tell a patient, like, especially like, say I'm dry needling someone, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna dry needle you back here, and you might feel it up here, and I just want to know, like, is this your pain? And he'll do it, and they're like, holy crap, like, that is my pain. And like, how'd you know? I'm like, because I've been through that and I felt it, and it's kind of weird, and they're like, okay, so you get it. And they immediately will come back to you because they trust you now. And so the way I like to look at things is, anytime I've had an orthopedic issue, an injury, which I've had a lot of injuries, I've just never had like cardiovascular stuff that just like, it's invisible illness. I've never had anything like that, but when you can like say the exact same thing of what somebody's thinking or feeling, like, I imagine you feel like this, and you say it and you're like, because I've been through that, it's like a light bulb goes off and they're like, I trust you and I'm going to come back. So my goal is always just to like earn the trust, and then it's like, okay, now how am I going to help you best and go from there. Something I thought of when you were talking is, you were talking about your wife earlier, and a lot of people that come into our space, they have a pain or an injury that they're dealing with, but they have stuff at home too.
Yeah.
And it affects the people at home, you know, their relationships, their children. And so we get to take the time in our practice to talk about that stuff too if people want to. It's like, how are you sleeping? Like, what's your nutrition like? Are you hydrating? And like, how's, you know, like, does your spouse understand? Are they able to help be a support system? And even if we don't prompt those things, people will just come out and like, they just got to get it out. And it's never negative stuff. It's just like, how can I help my spouse understand that even though they can't see it, like, this is how I'm feeling. And so just giving them kind of some tools and tips and tricks to have those conversations, or say like, hey, bring your spouse in with you or bring your kids in with you, and I'd be happy to kind of show them, because we can do certain little tests, retests, and diagnostics that will validate these patients in real time. Wow. And that's really powerful for everybody. It's like, okay, you are going through a hard time. I do understand. And there's just, a deeper understanding. So there's some powerful stuff that happens in our treatment rooms that we don't always get to talk about, but it's cool.
I think of a lot of all these kind of facets, like it's like a volume knob. And I usually say that with kind of clients where like, usually it's kind of like, we're usually talking about like money, stressors, things like that with that. But I mean, physical pain, trauma stuff that's going on at home, it's very much a volume knob. And so it's kind of like the more stimuli that you're adding to your situation, the louder it's getting. And so, I mean, if you're facing a stressor with work and you're in pain, and you know you've had a fight with a spouse, or God forbid you got a 32 on your sleep score 2 nights ago and it's still in your head, whatever it is, the volume's just really loud. Yeah. And like, it's kind of one of those, and when you're the one dealing with it, it's like, how are you not hearing this right now?
Mm-hmm. I love that so much, because it overflows into what you do too. Yeah. If someone's in pain, they don't give 2 cents about, you know, learning, finance, anything else in the world. Like, it's really hard because all you can focus is that one thing that's in front of you. Mm-hmm. So, man, I love that. It's like, how do we turn the volume down together? And you got to do all these, like, turn it down in a lot of places in the world we live in right now. The volume's high. Yeah. And I really do feel sorry for like our younger generations that have so much input and stimuli, and like even for you guys as parents, like you're raising that generation with the same stimuli. And I'm not a parent,
the
but
screaming is also loud.
Just so you know. I get it, man. I get it.
Right now, a forgotten backpack, some extra toys out in the environment, and stepping on a Lego is the loudest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
I used to say, like, is this stepping on a Lego pane? Like, from 0, 1 to 10, really. 10 being stepping on a Lego.
Yeah, no, 10 is stepping on a Lego. You're done. You're done. You're sitting on the floor. If you are sitting on the floor,
death by
because,
Lego. That's how I want to go out, actually.
I do not want to go out that way. I don't want to go out that way at all. Yeah. I've been out a few times with my athletics circle. So kind of wrapping up things, what is next for you? What is something that you're kind of focused on, whether it's a future with business, whether it's your personal stuff? What's on your mind for moving forward?
My faith. 100% my faith. God has slowed me down in this season, and I have a long history of God just showing up and providing me opportunities. I'm adopted. I've almost died several times. It's really kind of a long testimony, but I've always believed I have a purpose on this planet, and that God has a big grand story and provision for me. And this is a season where I just hear him saying, like, hey, stop, slow down. I don't know what's next. Like, I personally don't know what's coming. Yeah. And I think that's the point. I think Jodi's always been in control. Jodi's always had goals, big, audacious goals, and it's got me this far, which has been great. But now I'm at a point where it's like, it didn't matter how big and hairy and fun those goals are. My plan is just minuscule to his plan. And so I think it's a season of slowing down, learning to trust, relent control, and just build relationships around me and say, like, okay, God, what do you have for me? We'll find out.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
You bet, man. Appreciate you.